welcome back to another episode of SustainAPod, a youth-led podcast for the youth and anyone passionate about issues related to sustainability. I'm Rachel, and today I'll be co-hosting this podcast with Savannah. As we all know, plastic pollution has always been a problem for our planet. It not only harms the ecosystem, but also our own well-being. And as we seek convenience, we would demand for more of these unsustainable plastic products. Today on this episode, we have invited Devana Ng, the co-founder of Invisible Company, to share with us how their innovative products are eliminating plastic one bag at a time. Hi, Devana. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today.
We're excited to talk to you and interview you about your company, the Invisible Company, and #InvisibleBag. So, as a starters, can you tell us more about what's your company and specifically about the #InvisibleBag?
Sure. So our company is called Invisible Company. We found our company around 2018. It's because of high cleanup. So me and my husband used to work as employees too. And then during the weekend, we went for hiking, but unfortunately, we found a lot of trash. So you will see plastic bottles, plastic bags. Then on that day, we had a plastic bag. So we tried to pick up the trash. I recalled the first hike cleanup that we have done. It was 2018, and it was in Taipo. During the 12-kilometer hike, one day we realized we need to bring a solution to companies or to manufacturers to replace those not recyclable or not biodegradable packaging. So we started our research in 2019, and at the end we found this water-soluble material. We need to think of what could we bring to the companies that at the end they create a product while with a sustainable packaging. If it's unfortunately ended up in the nature, it will be biodegradable eventually. And on early 2020, we launched our company and created Invisible Bag. So why there's a hashtag in front? Because we believe that sustainability will only achieve when all the communities join forces. So we want to leverage the social media platform and the power of it. And people, as long as they use it or they receive it Invisible Bag, they will just go on social media and say #InvisibleBag to show the behavioral change and the power of using this sustainable packaging, but no longer just receive a plastic bag and you unpack your parcel and just dispose of the trash bin. So we want to emphasize of the afterlife of the product where you could use hot water to dissolve it, or if it ends up in the landfill, it will be biodegradable in 90 days with over 85%. It's also in some country when there is an infrastructure available, it's also industrial compostable and also compatible with some home composter. Actually, we are working for the R&D to develop more different materials with the DNA of no conventional plastic inside and also compostable and biodegradable.
What were the main challenges developing this product?
Instead of talking about what's the main challenges of developing the current product or the future product, for us, I think the biggest challenge that we could foresee and also we are experiencing today is the public education and awareness. Some people, when you say sustainability is only about individuals, the individual having the awareness to use sustainable product or being sustainable. But actually, this is a cycle. How would you get that awareness? From your school or from your family? So when it comes to school or family, where do they get the education? Is it because of the government having the regulation to promote sustainability in your school program? Or when it comes to corporate, people also work inside the corporate. So do the employees have the awareness to consider sustainability in their corporate, for example, procurement procedures, or when your marketing team, you create event? For us, that's the biggest challenge, to have people having the awareness in every individuals and promote sustainability. Even tomorrow, we have a very great solution, but people don't have that awareness and they don't adapt the solution. It's going to be just a trash. So for us, I would see that that's the biggest challenge.
Okay, so is extending education part of your goals for the company outreach? and aim?
Yes, definitely. I think education is really the foundation and the most important part when it comes to sustainability. We have been going to different schools, no matter primary school or secondary school, even university. One has different levels of understanding of sustainability. When we go to some international school, probably because of the background, the family education is slightly different. They have the awareness, for example, basic thing, recycling, or they understand there is a plastic pollution, so they will try to make some changes. Some local schools, they might not have it. So what we want to do in 2023 or even in the future is we want to raise the awareness and have the education program, no matter through all the social media on our website. We aim to create more educational information for people to understand what is sustainability first and what could you do on your individual level, and even when it comes to the corporate level, what could they do to achieve it. And also coming future education part, not only to the young generation, but also to everyone who needs to push sustainability.
So about like educating like sustainability is like, so your audience is usually on like the people who are usually in primary or secondary, right?
Yeah, and also corporate level, yes.
Have you tried like expanding like the target audience? Since I feel like, you know, I feel like it should be something that everyone should be educated about, not just like a specific target audience.
There's so many things that we could do. So I would say that the education is not only primary school, it's not about students only, it's about individuals that in our city or in the country.
So what do you see in the company in the near future?
I think in the near future, because we founded our company in 2020, so we hopefully more people when it comes to packaging, they will think of, oh, there is invisible bag. Let me consider invisible bag. For example, when it comes to a corporate level, there is a procurement company. They will think of, instead of just the conventional plastic, they will always mix with a sustainable or alternative option, and they will think of invisible bag inside. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, we hope in 2023, we will have good news to launch a new material that we are currently developing. And the third one, of course, is we hope to have more education part and educate more people, raising their awareness.
So, what do you think about the level of consumer awareness about the idea of sustainability in Hong Kong compared to other cities or countries?
Okay, I can't really have a specific comparison with one city or one region. We are currently based in Hong Kong. We have been talking to different companies based in different countries. For example, just in Asia, we have been talking to people from Japan, in Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan. Further away, we have US, Brazil, Colombia, France, or UK. I would see that Hong Kong with the other cities or regions, actually everyone is having the level of consumer awareness or about sustainability is there. It's also increasing. Especially these 3 years since the pandemic, Hong Kong has been rolled out the recycling program very well. We have many different green community stations with the incentive program. It engaged people and also have the consumer awareness of like, oh, okay, now I consume a product, but I will know that where am I going to end up a product, but not just trash it in the regular trash bin. So I would say that the awareness is there. But if we have to compare with some country, for example, in the US, there's always pros and cons, same as in Hong Kong. But if you keep promoting compostable packaging or biodegradable packaging, while the country doesn't have an infrastructure to support it, actually is going to be kind of useless or not making the purpose of the product. For example, in the US, there is quite well developed composting facilities, or there is different companies trying to organize this kind of program. So when the compostable packaging or this kind of sustainable alternative packaging in the country, people will know that where it could end up to. However, in Hong Kong, we only have Old Park or some food waste composting facility, while it's not designed for packaging composting facility. So we need more support from the government, initiate the program or initiate to develop more infrastructure, not only considering food waste, but more compostable products that could have the infrastructure to support. So I could compare this part with the other country like in US.
So like about being a co-founder of a startup, how did it affect your lifestyle?
When you become a founder of a company, even tomorrow you want to start a shop on Instagram, you have to focus, you have to dedicate your time, and you have to expect that this is no longer just working 9 to 6 in an office as a regular employee. Being a co-founder, you have all the responsibility on your shoulder to take care of the company, to take care of the team who work with you. I would say that is 24 hours, 7 days a week. So for example, we have social media channel. You always have to look, oh, is it somebody is going to text you? You have to reply them quickly. You have to get prepared that you don't have the weekend or you don't have the holiday or 14 days entitled annual leave. For you, it's like you want to promote your company, you want to push your business to make a bigger impact.
Being part of a startup really sounds like hard work. You have to sacrifice basically most of your time in building up this company's reputation and also your goals. So what kind of environmentally friendly habits do you personally adopt in your own life?
I think the basic thing when people talk about it right now is recycling. In a week, we only have a small trash bag that is sending to a regular trash station. And the rest of them, we try all of our best to recycle it. And when it comes to food waste, which is the number one in Hong Kong, and a lot of even the government trying to promote food waste collection now. Actually, we have our food composter since 2020. And after a few hours in a home composting machine, it becomes like a soil and we can use it for gardening. Another thing is you try to look at what are the single-use items you're using it in your daily life. For example, people know that the cotton bud is containing plastic. So actually there is alternative, which is a reusable cotton bud that you can use up to 1,000 times and you just have to wash it. For girls who like to do makeup, most of the people would just get cotton bag to remove your makeup. For me, instead of the single-use one, I use the reusable one. When I go out, I always have a towel with me instead of taking tissue. And I will bring in your reusable bottle, reusable. For me, it's a basic thing. It's also thinking of how to elevate your sustainable living by different angles. For example, when we go for hiking, we always have an extra bag with us to clean up the trail. So I would say that sustainability or the habits that I have is the conscious. Is every single movement that I'm trying to do, I will think of how can I eliminate the impact on the environment.
So speaking of different types of waste, do you think that people in Hong Kong are actually aware of these things? For example, in my class, I don't think a lot of people talk about different types of waste. However, I don't think they know how many wastes they actually create.
Yes, so in Hong Kong, I would see that since 2020, it's also because of the pandemic, people start to rethink their lifestyle, or some people has been experienced the quarantine. They will realize, oh, how many single-use container that are being created. So they will think, oh, in my daily life, what could I do more? So in Hong Kong, there are more, for example, zero waste living store or bulk buy store that have more sustainable alternative product. What I mentioned, for example, the reusable cotton bud, the reusable cotton pad, or like more alternative out there is available. However, I think we need a platform that is giving an education and consolidating more alternatives that make people more accessible. And also they will understand that, oh, we're living now with a phone, with a laptop, we still need to consume, but how do we live sustainably? And I think that's the most important thing. And I see that the trend is there, and I'm sure more alternative will be available in the market and people were aware of that.
That was very inspirational about how you talk about since the pandemic, we have realized how unsustainable our lifestyle is and how much like single-use plastic or waste in general we produce. So my final question is, what kind of advice would you suggest young entrepreneurs in joining into the field of sustainability?
Okay. I'm also young people and we started our business 3 years ago. And if you want to kick off or having your own startup in the sustainability space, give transparent information across all channels, not making your consumers fall into a greenwashing trap. And that's the responsibility of a brand owner when you try to promote sustainability. For example, some fashion brand trying to say, oh, I use eco-friendly material, eco-friendly fabric, I try to reduce the price tag, or I try to switch to sustainable packaging. If you have been adopting these kind of try to educate and communicate with your consumer, because at the end of the day, who use the product is the consumer. They need to understand what you're providing, especially at your generation, the Gen Z generation. They're not only buying a product, but they are also buying a brand. They are buying a brand value. They're buying what the brand is trying to do with the people, with the planet. And I think this part is going to a big responsibility on the company who give transparent information on their website. They have to do that responsibility on checking every information, are they correct, and not giving like some gray area to the consumer and lead them to easily fall into a greenwashing trap, because indeed there is no regulation on saying that what it has to be sustainable or what it means is biodegradable. So I think when it comes to a brand owner, if you want to go into a startup in the sustainability space, that's a very important part. And that's come back to the topic. Education is the most important thing when it comes to sustainability.
That was a really good advice to us. So thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Sustainapod listeners, to tuning in with us this week. We would love to hear from you from this episode. So let us know any questions and comments by messaging on Instagram at sustainapod_GIH or email us at sustainapod@gmail.com. See you next time.